Hi there. This is going to be a little different. Sort of a Friday night unboxing, a day or two late. We've had this Kodak printer for some time now. It was not an expensive printer, but it did a good job. But recently it started developing a problem. My wife had some pictures of the grandchildren she wanted to print out, and they came out looking much like that. So we went, tried new ink, didn't help it any. She decided we need a new printer. Well, I guess I helped her with that decision because she was in a hurry. And moved this out to the Radio Shack and shop. Did some testing, and as you can see, that should have a lot more there than there is. Going down the list with the online troubleshooter with Kodak, so it sounds like you need to do print head. One up or one to order one. Their price was better listed on their site than on Amazon and what I could find on eBay. So I said yes. And I was pleasantly surprised when they said, due to the fact that I had had this printer a while, knew it was out of warranty, but as a loyal customer, that they would give me a one-time freebie. So, in Friday's mail, there it is. I've already taken the liberty opening the tape on the back side because I don't have a knife with me. And let's take it out and replace it and check it out. I've done this one other time on another Kodak printer years ago, and they're usually not difficult. Get the box out of the way. It amounts to, in this case, opening the printer like this. You get the ink carriage over. Pop the ink cartridges out. Lay them upside down. Hopefully in a place where they won't decide to go bye-bye. And let me turn some light on in here so you can see that a little better. Back in here is the ink, or the print head. I pop that gray button, it comes out looking like that. I had tried to wipe it off and clean it up, but I have since discovered there's probably another secret, which is called alcohol. Now, I'm going to pause this a second while I get something to open this bag, because I can't tear it by hand, so I'll be right back. Okay, well, I could almost tear it by hand. And there is the new print head. You can see the orange to protect it, so remove that. And this is not a one-handed operation. Let me see if I can pardon the noise and the mess. But pop that off. And this is the area that goes towards the back. And as I recall, let's see, yeah, it just kind of sits down in there and then latches in. Trade hands here, and I am right-handed and holding the camera right hand. I'll see if we can get the ink in again. I guess I'm going to have to trade hands because I just do not have the dexterity with my left hand. Got a brother that could use either hand equally well. I'm just not that type. Okay, those snap down into place. Close the cover up. Let it initialize. And we'll print a test sheet when it finishes initializing. Okay, I paused it again, let it finish doing it. New print head detected, calibration. Okay, calibration required, load paper and press start. So let's press start and let it calibrate itself. Don't recall that, but like I said, it's been years ago since I did the other one, and it was a different model, so it might be the difference between the two of them. see what the calibration print. I can already tell since I did a calibration, which wasn't in that list, that colors are there that weren't there before. I guess come think of it, that one paper I showed was a calibration paper. It didn't have the black on it. Had some washed out blue, cyan, and yellow. And not near as sharp and dark as what that one is. So I think that will take care of that. Now let's go look at the calibration's complete. So let's go look at doing another operation on here. I remember how to get to it real quick. Yep. Maintenance, that's where I need to be. And let's print a test page. Nothing like watching paint, or in this case, inkjet printer ink dry, is there? It's not a speedy printer, but does good. Oh yes, that's much better than what I had before. Let's see if I've got one of these sheets out here. Doesn't look like it, but I do know that the last time I printed it, this area right here was not visible. It was totally empty. The hash mark area for resolution. Nor was any of this in the other colors visible. So already, I know that's better. Let me go send a picture. If I can find the same picture, we'll send it and compare them. Okay, let me go ahead and pause you. Okay, that took me a bit of time to find, and the video pause had timed out even. Forgot where I had it at. I'm one of those people that probably have thousands of pictures on each one of my computers, and I do have a couple of computers of my own, and my wife has one, etc. Not to mention the phones. An old codger, but what was it? George Jones had a song years ago, I'm a high-tech redneck. So, anyway, as you can see, that is much better than that. Matter of fact, well, hello there. What you're looking at there is the top or bottom, whichever way you want to look at it, of the field coil off my Philco 3780 speaker. I sent it to, decided not to wire wind it myself after pricing the price of magnet wire and talking to the people at the Alabama Historical Radio Society, who do a great job of winding these coils or rewinding them, and finding that the difference between buying the magnet wire myself and sending it to them to have a very professional job done was not that much different. It was a little more, but not that much more, and I think well worth it. So that will end up going back on here. That was the worst part. I had tried to separate that spindle out, so had my son-in-law, and no luck, and tried actually to grind out these studs that pressed that together originally. Again, with no luck. I did grind them off, but they still wouldn't press apart. And talking to him, he said, I took a 5-pound hammer and I was starting to bend the frame when he tried to separate it for me, so we gave up and I cut it apart with a Dremel cutting tool. And Noticed the frame was bent a little bit and straightened it up, and doggone if this piece here didn't start to loosen. But be that as it may, there's a couple pieces that I've got to retrieve from the workshop, fiberboard spacers that go on there, and I'm going to get it back to my son-in-law, who is very good and adept at welding, precision welding. Discussed with him at some length. He will shim the center post once he gets the frame all lined up, shim the center post to make sure it stays centered, and do a little spot weld on the let me grab it here, on the other sides. I made some registration marks on the frame before I separated it too, which will help. But he'll line it up, do a few spot welds on each side, 2 to 3, and once I verify everything lines up the way it should in the speaker frame, and the cone works like it should, I will then fill it with probably some JB weld. I won't show the rest of the process of reassembling it, but everything goes well, we'll show you the end results, and look forward to getting it back into the radio. The permanent magnet solution I've been using is doing a pretty good job. I prefer to have the original speaker back intact, though, if at all possible. We'll get back after we get it done. Okay, what I have here is a Detrola model 568-1. Not a primo example, I'm sure. Matter of fact, the name right in here is a little bit faded, and I have been trying to decide if I want to attempt to paint the cabinet, re-decal it since they are available, but part of me says leave it as is. This is not a rare radio by any means, and from what I was able to find out on the internet reading about it, this radio was actually made for the servicemen during World War II initially, and after the war ended, because it was in production right near the end of the war, after the war ended, they switched what they had ready and I guess future production over to civilian market. And as I read in one location, it wasn't too unusual to find these radios with multifungal protection, the MFP, which is a yellowish green looking coating on everything. This one indeed had that. But all I really did was recap it, and I was trying to decide whether to do that or not. I brought it up slowly on the Variac to see if the capacitor would form, and it seemed to do it, and was playing at about 100 volts. Through, fortunately, a dim bulb tester. All of a sudden the audio went real low. Quickly the dim bulb tester, and it was brightly lighted, so I shut it down. No damage was done, but when I opened the electrolytic capacitor up to restuff it, as the cutting blade penetrated the CAD, you heard a little poof where the gassing that was going on had vented at that point. So I went ahead and recapped it entirely, not necessarily that it really needed it, but I figured, what the heck, I've got it open, let's do it. And it actually plays pretty good. I've noticed the volume control does not shut off entirely, but that's probably normal.
Anyway, and what it illuminated is something I have felt for a long time as a card-carrying...
I'll show you a little more about this radio in a moment.
1422.
Probably one of the more sensitive AM broadcast receivers I've had out here.
For a 3-day weekend, trading suspended yesterday.
Then again, it's one of the few I've had out here that connect up to an external antenna.
Winter-weary East Coast officials in Boston say another...
Leather seating that...
Also, given that this is 9 o'clock in the morning, the shortwave band is not too bad either. Net up just a hair.
No se recibirán este martes la distinción a los durante el panel aquí.
Por eso te pido por ellos, te pido por aquel que te escucha.
WWE's back here, but not coming in real strong.
The ray, scarlet color, and decked with gold.
This covers 6 through 18 megahertz on the shortwave band, so it's not a real selective tuner, but it's amazing what it picks up. Sideband, but no way of decoding it on this one, no BFO. And that's really about it for right now, but I was surprised to hear the stations I heard out here this morning. This is a little 5-tube AC/DC radio, so like all American 5 AC/DCs, no transformer, no isolation from ground, and the general standard warnings about using this. I've used them for years and never really got shocked off any of them, but hey, I was young, dumb, and stupid, and I guess I still am to an extent, but anyway, it's one of those things, if you decide to operate it, just beware, take precautions, etc. This came with built-in wire antenna. It looks to me like it's about 20 feet long. Sorry about that, I realized I got the camera at an angle. And what really amazed me, this power cord was a very flexible, pliable, still today rubber coating. I do need to get some cleaner after it and clean it off. I've got some mild detergent out here. I'll wipe it down with that. Everything was actually in pretty good shape in it. I bought this off eBay. It wasn't terribly expensive. Let's see, there's some wax I forgot to clean off. Have to work on that. The woman said this had been her father, out of her father's collection, and doesn't look like, when I unwrapped it, doesn't look like it ever been touched. Matter of fact, the power cord and the antenna were taped up with some very old brittle electrical tape, so I doubt seriously it had ever been fired up. Anyway, just thought I'd show you that radio. Kind of neat, portable AM and a little bit of shortwave. Got some other things in the works, including a couple of battery-operated, or at least one battery-operated Philco portable. I can't remember the model number right off the top of my head, but it's in the works, and I'll probably do a little restoration series on it, because I have found really precious little out there on this radio, and getting a battery to fit it's going to be a challenge.